Welcome to the Happy Humanoids Perspective, where your beliefs are challenged, thoughts provoked, and where you may find your happy place whether you like it or not.
And here are your hosts, Edith and Miles. Woohoo!
Woohoo! Woohoo! Welcome everyone to our show. My name is Miles Keever. I'm an Access Consciousness Certified Facilitator. Woohoo! And I'm joined tonight with
Edith Ball, Access Consciousness Facilitator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're in our podcast, Happy Humanoid Perspective.
Yes, we are. We're in the podcast mode tonight for the next half hour.
Yeah. Your voice is different tonight.
Thank you. I put on my sexy voice tonight.
Yeah.
Yes. One should be like sexy, and one might think that I have a cold, but it's really my way of having a sexy voice all the time. Yes. Speak from my nose, somehow define that as sexy. So welcome to our show. This is our podcast number 42. And the topic for our show tonight is resistance to asking questions that can change your reality. That's kind of, why would we resist asking questions?
Yeah. Why? Why would...
It seems such an easy thing to do, like ask a question.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? But yet it's like there's this like whole dynamic that goes with asking a question. It's like it's almost this space, or not space, but this place of impossibility. Like, So imagine, I've imagined myself when I'm in a situation where I am playing out some drama and trauma, and Edith, you might say something like, "Oh, did you ask a question?" And I'm like, "Now is not the time. I am in this thing right now. I need to work this out. And now is not the time to ask a question. Thank you very much." But yeah, now is the time to ask a question. So what is that resistance to like owning that the trauma and drama that myself and maybe some other people have bought into? So everywhere that we're not willing to revoke, recant, rescind, renounce, denounce, and destroy all of the resistance to having the joy in our life that we could be choosing, destroy and uncreate all of that times Godzillion, please.
Right and wrong, getting that puck and put all 9 shorts wasn't beyond. Well,
do you have something to say about that?
If I have something to say about that?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the subject, the topic, or?
Do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, I think I have.
Great. Fantastic.
Yeah. Are you slave to your mental? Are you slave to whatever will come up, will be created in your mental? Are you aware that this is not who you are? Are you aware that this here, what you hear and what you react to when you want to defend or prove what is inside your head, what you hear, what you are in? Yeah, sometimes we hear, sometimes we feel that. We hear it. This is not who you are. And most of the people on this planet believe that whatever the dialogue, the monologue they have inside their head this is who they are. It's not. And the purpose of asking question is to come out of that universe and opening up to receive, to gain awareness from consciousness, which function totally different from our mental and creates greater possibilities than whatever language monologue that we have there. So everywhere you are slave, and you slave yourself to your thoughts, feeling, and emotion, and you attach yourself to this for eternity. And create and destroy it all times a Godzillion.
Yes, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, only shorts, full meals. Hey, your hair looks really nice tonight. I like the way.
Oh, thank you.
Looks like it's shorter, but you've just got it wrapped up behind.
Yeah, differently.
Mysterious.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's like the idea of for me, it's like coming from like the spiritual background and like thinking positive. It's not really about thinking positive, because that's more about being in our head and trying to change something that is created. Like Einstein said, you can't resolve a problem from the space that you created it. And that's what our brain does. It's like we get into this space of, well, paraphrase, you didn't say it exactly like that. I think I said it much better than Einstein, of course. Yeah, it's like we get in this idea that we try to, if we can think hard enough about it, or really like, I need to work on this, or like I really need to spend time with this and really ingest the whatever energy that is, it's like something's going to shift. And for me, it's usually after I go through this situation that I begin to ask a question. It's like when I get out of that trauma and drama, when I'm in the trauma and drama, nothing really happens other than I'm creating more of that trauma and drama. Yeah, so it's like the idea of trying to think positively is really just being stuck in the loop of really, like you said, Edith, it's like this really contained, I'd say, a small universe or bubble that when I'm in that, it's just so much, it's so real, it's so like amazingly realistic. It's like, this is reality, man. This is it. And it's just a lie. It's a lie that the trauma and drama, it's like I've created that for whatever reason. And that's something else that we can look at as well, is what is it that we're not willing to have or choose? And why is that we create this trauma and drama to avoid having something greater? So everywhere that we have chosen our standby trauma and drama routine as a way to avoid having the whatever it is that we desire, we destroy and uncreate all that times Godzillion, please.
Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all nine shorts, bows and beyond. And keeping yourself in the positive judgment is about positive. To being positive, you always have to be in judgment. Okay, exactly. What is positive? What is negative?
Right.
And judgment, does that create more? No, it's just destroy. Judgment is just destructive. It's not, there's nothing.
It eliminates the possibility of something greater.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you don't want to ask questions, is it because that you want to find the answer by yourself? And the question that comes for me is, how old are you being when you want to find it by yourself? When you want to do things by yourself? I want to find the solution by myself.
12 years old for me.
12?
Maybe 15. Yeah.
Usually it's 2. I want to do it by myself. No, terrible 2s.
I was a late bloomer. It was 12 for me. 10 years later, it finally like blossomed into.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, do you believe that if you find it by yourself, you'll have more value? Mm-hmm. That's the thing too. Because when we ask questions to gain awareness, it doesn't come from us. It comes from the universe, the consciousness. And there are people that are so attached to, it has to come from me. It's all about them. Mm-hmm. And it's all about proving to themselves or defending something against or for themselves that they think this way. So everywhere you believe you have to prove to yourself that you're right. Well, and create and destroy it all times a Godzillion.
Yes, right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pocket, online shorts, boys and beyonds. And I want to say for anyone that might be listening to this, that's new to Access, we do the clearing statement, right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pocket, online shorts, boys and beyonds. You can check our website for more details on it. It's just like we bring up the energy of the topic, and then we say this statement, and it clears the energy out of the universe. So hopefully we will not choose it again. But if you go to our website, happyhumanoids.com, / frequently asked questions. You'll see it on the tab there. There's a video by Dane and also some description of it. And so the basic of Access is really about asking questions. It's really, I would say that's one of the platforms of Access, is just asking questions to create a different possibility. And it takes us out of our head of trying to figure it out. And so that's the great thing, is like the more stupid we become, or more not really stupid in the sense that we use that, but just the more that we
Unconscious.
the more that we ask questions and just follow the energy, our life gets easier. And it's also acknowledging that we do create our own reality, because that's one thing that we may have not necessarily acknowledged, because I guess we just sort of believe that is true for us, that we do create our own reality with our points of view. So by having these fixed points of view, by not asking questions, and by moving forward in a way that we just repeat ourselves, it's limited. So the idea of Access is really just to allow us to have more awareness of what is there, that and also acknowledging that our reality, our points of view, create our reality. So if you don't, so anyway, I wanted to mention that just in case someone's listening, that they maybe don't follow that train of thought. So everywhere that we're resistant to believing that we do create our own reality, and everywhere we're not willing to see that we create our own reality, like if I create trauma and drama, at that point I'm not willing to, in that moment, not willing to acknowledge it. I created that. It's like it's some foreign thing that came on, and then I was sort of the victim of it. So I just want to revise this. Everywhere that we've not acknowledging what we're creating in our life and using the victimization of our reality, would you destroy and create all that times a gazillion?
Mm-hmm. Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and putt, all nine shorts, blows and beyonds. Yeah, the purpose of asking question is when we desire to create a life different. And we ask question to, as I said, to gain awareness. And of course, from the awareness that we receive, it creates more for us. Sometimes it's a guidance to go to the next step. Sometimes it's an awareness of something where we can in coming out of where we are stuck somewhere in our life. So yeah, the purpose of asking question is really to come out of a situation, or to live our life differently, to live our life in a different way. And the thing is, in this reality, it's as if people are fixed point of view. This is who they are. They have points of view that are fixed, and they function from that. But you're not a fixed point of view. You are not fixed points of view. You're not that. You are an infinite being. Whoa. So everywhere you function from the fixed point of view, and you go from a fixed point of view to another fixed point of view, and this is how you create your life, from a fixed point of view to another fixed point of view. Well, you now create and destroy it all times Godzillion. Whoa.
Yes, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all night shorts, boys and beyonds. Definitely. Yeah, it's something about being an allowance of something. Like if I have a resistance to a situation that I have, and I want to be in this trauma and drama, is it like camouflage for not being, or not, maybe it's not acknowledging. There's some, like if I'm in resistance to anything, there's something that I'm not an allowance of. So if I'm not an allowance of, I'm not sure of an example. I didn't really have one starting out. I'm doing improv. Yeah, so it's just like the resistance to anything is there's some kind of a barrier that I'm not allowing, that is something that I've had points of view about and I'm resisting and reacting to. And it doesn't allow for anything greater. Like, yeah, we know people that that will actually so strongly defend their point of view, defend their limitation. And if we ever approach them and say, hey, maybe there's another possibility, they will argue with you if you join in with them. They will like fight you about their fixed point of view about this is the way it is, and this is, it's like, it's so interesting to see. I'm sure I do it as well, and it's interesting to see it from a third party perspective, like watching someone defend their point of view so much so that they're willing to give up all of them, really. And so everywhere that we're defending the not you of this reality, will you destroy and uncreate all of that times a godzillion, please?
Mm. Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and putt, all nine shorts, was and beyonds. What is the purpose to find an answer? What is the purpose to, because when in Access, we talk about asking question and not finding the answer. Mm-hmm. It's about asking question and receive the awareness, gaining the awareness of the question that we asked. And I think, well, in this reality, I thought about that question. What is the purpose to find an answer? It's about knowing how to deal with a situation. Mm-hmm. That could be one of the reasons. So, do you think that by finding the answer from your mental, finding an answer will get you to where you desire? If this is what you think, okay, cool. If this is what you think, you are on the path to destruction, self-destruction, and to self-sabotage, and you are in a path of always creating the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Oh. So everything that is brought up with this will, create and destroy it all times a godzillion.
Yeah, that's right. Wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, online shorts, boys and beyonds. Yeah, I want to also maybe touch back on the idea that we're resisting maybe being happy or having what it is that we desire. And what is that about? Like, we have this possibility of having something great or being happy. And there's this sort of acknowledgement or this fight that is common in this reality to push up against something, like defend something instead of being happy. Because it's like if I'm resisting anything, it's like I'm not happy about it, or maybe I like the trauma drama of it or the adrenaline of it. Maybe there's some kind of adrenaline that's associated with creating the trauma drama. And I think that's what a lot of people do, myself included, in the past have done to create a lot of trauma and drama and excitement because I think it might be interesting. Maybe someone might want to look at what I'm creating. And the truth of it is, it's much more interesting to be present and to be dynamic and choosing our life in a way that stands out. Like, it's so common to have two people get together and complain about a situation that's being friends. That's one example of being so-called friends, is having someone who has the same points of view as you. And enemies are someone who have different points of view than you. So it's kind of a weird dynamic that we play in this reality. Instead of just having the awareness of some situation and clearing all the points of view or all the resistances that we have to being happy. So example, like for I got this cold recently. We went to visit, and I realized that I was feeling congested. Like some of the points of view that I had taken on, there's a lot of congestion, and I was thinking, I was asking my body, what was creating this? What is it that I chose that I created this? And I asked, was the environment too cold for me? Because I usually like it a little bit warmer where I usually stay, and it was quite cold in the place that we were staying. And I got a no. And then I asked later, I said, was it the resistance to the cold? I wasn't in allowance of the cold. I was in this resistance and the energy of, oh, this is aggravating. This is not really the comfortable environment that I want. it's about resisting, and it was, again, asking questions. And it took me later to acknowledge that part of the reason that I chose to create a code was the resistance to my environment. So everywhere we are using resistance to our environment to have the congestion in our life and the complexity that creates more congestion and complexity and trauma and drama, will you please destroy and uncreate all of that times a godzillion?
Right and Wrong, Good and Bad, Puck and Puddle, 9 Shorts, Boys and Beyonds. The title is Resistance to Asking Questions That Can Change Your Reality. Mm-hmm. Just before the podcast tonight, I was in the mental situation with myself. I will go and visit family in maybe 2 weeks. And it has been like this for years. Every time I was meeting some of them, I am in conflict. I was creating conflict in my head. I was like, okay, if this person tells me this, I'm going to answer that. If she's going to say that, and create scenarios. I'm going to say that. Okay, and she says that, I'm going to tell her that. It's just like, whoa. So I was in the mental about trying to deal with this from my mental. And when I ask one of my favorite question in Access, and one of the magical and more simple question in Access, is it mine? Mm-hmm. Who does it belong to? And I realized, OMFG. Like, it's not mine. For years I have been like this before I was meeting that person. And by asking one question, it allows me to see for all these years. I thought that I was preparing myself to be in the same kind of energetic dynamic. It was not that. I was just perceiving the dynamic from which she functions from. Mm-hmm. And it's so relieving. I ask a question, I receive the awareness of it, and I am free. That's what it is. When we ask a question and we receive the awareness of something, sometimes it frees ourselves like this, like in a second.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So what would it take for you to come out of this? Well, first to acknowledge. What would it take for you to acknowledge, to become aware, to choose? It's about choosing here. Mm-hmm. Choose to become aware. Voilà. To choose to become aware instead of continuing the conflict over and over again. Mm-hmm. And everything that doesn't allow that. And create and destroy it all times a godzillion. Mm-hmm.
Right and Wrong, Good and Bad, Pot and Pock, All 9 Shorts, Boys and Beyonds. Yeah, there's asking questions consistently is something that I am doing more of, and I really enjoy it. Thank you, Edith, for your fine example of asking questions. That's something that Gary talks about you've got to use the tools for them to work. And I would use them like when I would be in a situation, or I was like stuck in a situation, or I wasn't happy, or there was some conflict. Then I would begin to use the questions and asking questions and having the awareness. And I'd say, well, since Edith and I've been together, I've been using more of the questions for like anything and everything. Like, what would my life be like in 5 years if I moved here? Or what would be a book if I buy you? Will you make me money? Simple things like that. It's just like a common practice that is becoming more and more of my lifestyle or my choice. It's like a conscious choice to ask questions, and it really does make a difference. It's really, for me, it was like having to do it enough to kind of get the ball rolling, get the train moving, and now it's like I'm more present with myself and asking questions and about anything, about Body, do you want to eat this? Or do you want to have a portion of this? Or body, would you like to go outside? Or what would be fun for me today? Or what's going to create the most for me today? Or body, do you want to take a nap? Or any of those things. And in the beginning, I just didn't feel confident with the response I got. I was like, I'm just making this up. I'm not sure that I'm not sure there's lightness there. That's maybe just my point of view. And you can clear those points of view. Okay, everywhere I have a point of view that I want to do this, and maybe my body doesn't want to do this, pot and pock all that, and then just asking questions. So that's really, the more that I can practice asking the simple questions, it's as though I don't have to ask the questions as much. It's like I get the awareness more quickly. It's like I can just say, body, do you want that? And then I just know instantly if it does it or if it doesn't, or does it feel like to do this, or what would my life be like in 5 years? It's much more efficient. So I like that. So everywhere that we're not willing to first ask the question and then everywhere that we're not willing to ask the question and be in allowance of receiving the possibilities or the awareness, will you please destroy and uncreate all of that times a godzillion?
Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Are you afraid to ask questions and to not receive the right awareness?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people don't ask questions. Oh, it's too complicated. Oh, I cannot do it. Or do you mistrust consciousness? Are you scared of Are you scared that consciousness will make you do things against you?
Right.
What if consciousness makes you think with you, for you, for a greater you that you truly be? Because consciousness, functions from consciousness. And consciousness, it's always about creating more. And when I say create more, a lot of people think it's about having. It's not about that. It can be that. It can be that, and it can be having more joy, being more joyful, being more light, being more expansive, being more, it's about being more, as I said joy. Well,
you said joy
enthusiastic.
Twice?
Yeah, I said joy twice.
Can you do that?
I wonder.
Using too much on your joy card. I have to mark that down.
Yeah, and it's about why creating more? Because this is part of who we truly be as infinite being. As I said, we're not a fixed point of view. We're not. A lot of people try to create in their life or believe that, okay, if I create that level of peace, that state of peace, I'll be fine. If I go and I attain that kind of level in my life, achieve that kind of level, I'll be fine. Does an infinite being would an infinite being choose to live their life this way? I don't think so. So it's about, when I say to create more, it's about too allowing ourselves to be this infinite being that we truly be. It's about, because it's always in movement. There's always a movement. Consciousness is, no matter the speed of it, it's about what?
It's like the play of consciousness, it's always moving.
Yeah. So everywhere you mistrust consciousness, and everywhere you are afraid to make a mistake and to not gain the right awareness, there's no right or wrong awareness. There are just awareness. Well, and create and destroy it all times a godzillion.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pocket, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So one thing about asking questions is also, when we were going on this little weekend adventure this past weekend, it felt kind of heavy to me in the beginning. I was like more in my head about, I'm not sure it really creates that much for me. And then he was like, well, what does it create for consciousness and create for the people there? And I'm like, oh, I didn't ask that question. Then I asked it. It was like it was more of an expansion. And then I was like, then I was like, felt like, oh, okay, this could be something for me as well. You know, so it's not always about if I do something, is it going to create more consciousness or more happiness for me? Because in the beginning, maybe it won't. Maybe it'll be something more. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it involves more of a bigger picture. And as we went to this weekend thing, it created a lot for, I think, both of us and for everyone there. It really was, it created more for all of us. So it was very a dynamic weekend. Yeah, so everywhere that we're not willing, like you said, either to have the awareness of what our questions will create, and everywhere we're not willing to ask beyond the mini-me, we destroy and uncreate all that times Godzillion.
Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and putt, all nine shorts, bows, and beyonds. And well, the last question for me, all the resistance that is in place and all the implants, explants, shikyu that keeps in place this resistance. Well, you now from asking question, will you know create and destroy it all times a Godzillion.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and puck, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Well, that's the end of our show for another week, and we will be back again next week and for another show. Any last words?
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks for listening, and please give us a honk of support by subscribing, commenting, and sharing the show with your friends. Or, if you didn't like the show, please share it with your enemies.
Thanks for joining us tonight, guys, and we will see you again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Take care.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.